Hey, what's going on, folks? Donald Trump sent out an email saying that Florida is one of the worst states in the country to live, to die, to be a millennial, to retire, to be a police officer, for working dads, for working moms, to raise a family, to afford energy, to have a baby, to be safe, to rent a home, to pay taxes, to be a teacher. Trump thinks that Florida is one of the worst states for all of that. So why did he move from New York City to Florida? This is his campaign strategy to beat DeSantis, is to just shit on Florida. We're going to talk about it, and also how he's now sharing CNN articles and Joy Reid MSNBC blog hit pieces on Republicans on True Social. It's gonna be a fun show, folks. Show starts now. It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Dream Rare Podcast. Thank you so much for being here, and let me just jump into it because it's gonna be a comedy show. So we know that obviously Trump is battling DeSantis because he thinks DeSantis will run. I have no problem with that as long as you're being honest. It's like, yeah, I get it. You both want to win the election or whatever. But now Trump is not just attacking DeSantis. He's basically crapping all over the state of Florida and telling people that it's one of the worst places in the country to live, to die, to retire. He's referencing ESPN articles to make his case that Florida is one of the worst states, which is weird because Trump moved from New York City to Florida. He fled Democrats to Republicans, but now he's doing what most Democrat transplants do, which is crap all over the state he got to. Let's just get to the article. He wrote, the real DeSantis Playbook. I just want to show people. This is on the Trump website. You can go to his official website, or he sent out an email. So this is all real. It's all official. He said the real Ron DeSantis playbook, the real DeSantis record is one of misery and despair. He has left a wake of destruction across all of Florida, and people are hurting because he has spent more time playing public relations games than actually doing the hard work needed to improve the lives of the people he represented. Steve Chung, spokesperson. Let's get to the article. So Trump said, under Ron DeSantis, Florida has become among the worst states to live. In April 2023, Money Inc. cited Florida's failing education system and above average poverty rate in its list of the 20 worst states to live in America. Trump went on to say Florida is one of the worst states to find economic opportunity. Florida ranked 36 in economic opportunity according to U.S. News. Trump said that Florida is one of the worst places to work. He said it's one of the worst places to retire, one of the worst places to raise a family, one of the worst places to pay taxes, one of the worst places to be safe. Trump went on to say Florida is one of the worst places to rent a home. Florida is one of the worst places to have a baby. Trump said Florida is one of the worst places to afford energy. He said it's one of the worst places to die. I didn't even know there's a such thing as a bad place to die. I'm not laughing at that, but I'm laughing at the part that in order to make the case that Trump's saying now that Florida is one of the worst cases to die, he referenced ESPN as if ESPN is some sort of flagship journalist company. Trump said ESPN wrote that Florida is one of the worst states in the nation to die, citing the fact that Florida has the fewest Medicare providers per capita of any state. Reminder, DeSantis cut out. It's like, yeah, well, I guess if ESPN says it, then it's got to be true. He said it's one of the worst places to be a doctor, one of the worst places to be a police officer, one of the worst places for millennials, one of the worst places for working dads, and one of the worst places for working moms. So, to make a long story short, a lot of the things he was referencing were from wallethub.com. I don't know that I've ever read a Wallet Hub article. I'm not sure where they're getting their data from and their sources. It's not a website that's ever crossed my attention as super credible or anything, but this is the game he's playing. So I guess my question to people is real quick. If you live in Florida, if you move to Florida, if you love Florida, I don't care who you are. Do you agree with Trump? Is it really that bad there? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it because I think it had the most people moving there. Everybody seems to want to move to Florida for the economic opportunity, for what they offer in multiple different... It was the number one state that people were migrating to, including Donald Trump. That's the funniest part. He moved there himself. It's a pretty wild, I get that he needs to battle DeSantis, but Trump's strategy to battle him is to just post ESPN data and say that Florida's so terrible. He even posted a Joy Reid MSNBC readout blog article about DeSantis. It's like, in order to fight the deep state and fight DeSantis, we're sharing Joy Reid blogs from MSNBC. And the funniest part is Trump was in Florida yesterday, and I'm watching people on social media basically cream their pants over like him eating a slice of pizza. They're like, oh my gosh, look at him eating pizza. Am I supposed to not laugh at this? Like, oh yeah, I mean, he just crapped on your whole state, but but he's eating pizza there. And then we laugh at Joe Biden when he eats ice cream. Look at Joe Biden. Both sides of politics are like losing their mind. I don't know what's going on. Joe Biden looks so presidential eating ice cream. He's like, come on, Jack. Come on, corn pop. He's just eating ice cream. And Democrats are like Getty Images. They're like, yo, let's get more pictures of Joe Biden eating ice cream because that's where he really shines. He shines eating ice cream. Listen, everybody likes an authentic picture of someone eating Haagen-Dazs or whatever, but at the end of the day, are we voting for the best ice cream eater? Is that what this election's about? Who eats ice cream the best? We all laugh at Joe Biden when they try to paint him as presidential because he's slurping down a freaking, Dairy Queen cone. But then Republican journalists are the same as left-wing journalists. My entire Twitter feed was like, Trump's eating pizza. Whoa. Like, is that really who people are now? He's eating pizza? Wow. He crapped on your state, but no worries. He's eating pizza, though. I'm sorry. The right's getting just as bad as the left. And then the funniest thing is now all these people that endorse Trump, like Anna Paulina and this guy Corey Mills and others, they're starting to get questioned. I've met Anna Paulina. I've invited her on the show. She said she would come on a couple weeks ago. I don't know if she still wants to, but I'm going to ask her again later this week. But now they're being asked this question because they're all sitting in a golden room with Donald Trump. And then Trump's sending out emails saying Florida's one of the worst places to live, to die, to retire, to be a police officer. It's just so... And they're like, do you believe this stuff, Anna? Do you believe this stuff, Corey? Do you agree that Florida's one of the worst states for everything? Of course they don't. Of course they don't. But that's the new Trump campaign. Just sit there, watch him share CNN articles and MSNBC articles, hit pieces on Republicans. Watch him crap all over the state he moved to like a Democrat transplant. Say that Democrats could do a better job. He said that Charlie Crist did a fine job. He said that Gavin Newsom, he can't hit Gavin Newsom. Trump is like a Democrat transplant trying to turn the state left. But he eats pizza and he lobbies your favorite politicians. Don't worry. It's getting just funny. But now I'm starting to see a little backlash from people because my opinion is it's one thing to go after DeSantis. It's another thing to go after the whole state of Florida. He's not just going after DeSantis now. In a desperate attempt to go after DeSantis, he's now saying Florida. I'm going to read all the things he said again. He said that Florida is among the worst states to live, to find economic opportunity, to work, to retire, to raise a family, to pay taxes, to be safe, to rent a home, to have a baby, to afford energy, to die, to be a teacher, to be a doctor, to be a police officer, for millennials, for working dads, and for working moms. And he's citing wallethub.com articles that nobody's ever heard of. I don't even know, like, no one cares about that website. Like, no one thinks that, though. So, I don't know. It's one thing to attack DeSantis. It's another thing to attack the state that everybody's moving to because they know it's better than Democrat states. Why move to Florida? If you're going to say that you're better friends with Gavin Newsom than Thomas Massey, if you're going to say that it doesn't matter that Ron DeSantis is president or governor and that Charlie Crist, the Democrat, could have done a better job or he did do just as good of a job, it doesn't matter, it's just hot. Why doesn't Trump move to California? Why doesn't he move to Portland or something? Why live in a red state? Why flee a Democrat state to go to a Republican state and then act like it's so bad? How much is DeSantis paying me? $0. Do you think someone has to pay me to tell the truth? I don't think Florida is one of the worst states. I think it's one of the more desirable states on every level. That's why people are moving there by the millions. It's one of the, like, is this how weird the movement's gotten? Like Trump shares a Joy Reid blog. And I'm like, why are you... Joy Reid is one of the dumbest people on television, which is saying a lot because there's a lot of stupid people on television. Is this the MAGA movement now? Joy Reid blogs, MSNBC, like literally Trump is spending or sharing MSNBC Joy Reid blog opinion pieces. That's MAGA? Someone said it's become a cult. To prove that, here, I just want to show you, I printed out, I'm not saying everybody's a cult person, but I don't even know who this guy is, some Trump lawyer, look, he said, MarALago is Jerusalem for Republicans. Florida belongs to Trump. MarALago is Jerusalem? Yeah? It's your Jerusalem now? You go there and worship the golden idol and the golden room? You live in Florida and you say, Florida is one of the best states. And then Trump says, Florida is one of the worst states. And then you say, I don't have brain no more because I want to sit in golden room with my friend. That's the Republican Party. No one pays me to say this. Ask who's paying these other people to act like there's a rock in their brain. It's just weird. So I'm not going to spend too much time today, but I did notice that this kind of tipped the scale for a lot of people's social media. It really did. I'm noticing all of these Florida politicians who are sitting in a golden room with Trump. They're all being asked by their constituents. They're being asked, do you think Florida is this bad of a state? If you think Florida is bad, if you think it's bad on crime, bad on economy, bad on energy, it's probably bad on some things, I'm not going to lie. But for Trump to try to paint Florida as one of the worst states on every level, this is the new movement. Trump is becoming a MSNBC Democrat. Trump is attacking everyone from the left. No one's paying me to be more conservative than Trump. It's just my brain that tells me I'm not Joy Reid. I'm not Don Lemon. I'm not going to regurgitate CNN talking points from 2020 in a desperate attempt to make someone look bad. This is Trump's campaign strategy. DeSantis has so much fuel now. He hasn't even started to attack Trump. Trump is making it way too easy. It's like sharing a Joy Reid blog. That's the big strategy. And then people ask, and then saying MarALago's Jerusalem. That's the new strategy. Saying that the state that Trump moved to, that it's not even just a Republican thing. The number one state in the entire country that's attracting new people is Florida. They can't build enough stuff in Florida because so many people want to move there. And he's going to sit online and say that it's one of the worst states on every level of living, dying, retiring, working, economy, energy. And you have millions of people in Florida that move there and that love it. Are you just going to sit there and let him say that your state's the worst state? To me, this is like a humiliation ritual to see who is who. Like with the lockdown. To me, it was like a psychological experiment. It's like, can we psyop people into locking themselves in their house? Can we psyop people into staying home for 4 months? Can we psyop people to wear masks for 2 years? Can we psyop people into getting the vaccine and forcing the vaccine on other people? Like the entire lockdown was a whole psychological experiment to see how far they could push humanity and both sides of politics. To me, this whole Trump thing at this moment, it seems like a humiliation ritual and a psychological experiment. It's like, can I go to your state, tell you that your state is the worst state on every level or one of the worst states? Can I start sharing MSNBC Joy Reid blogs? Can I start regurgitating CNN talking points from 2020? Can I tell you that it's the worst state to live, retire, and then you'll still sit in my golden room and grovel over my shoes? You'll still back me? You'll still say I'm so presidential because I'm eating slices of pizza? I'm sorry. If eating slices of pizza matters more than you, than vaccine socialism, him shitting on the state he moved to and lying about an entire state just because he wants to fight the governor, it is a cult at that point. You know, it's like, it's no different than the left-wing journalist groveling over Joe Biden eating ice cream. This is why, my friends, I don't do this for any other reason besides it's the truth. This is why my number one message outside of politics is self-awareness and self-accountability. Biden, Trump, these people are not going to change your life. You can change your life. God gave you the tools to work harder, to work smarter, to take better care of yourself, to love your family. You know what I'm saying? These are things that are going to make or break your life, who you are. It's not who you watch on television. It's not even watching me. I hope I could help you, make you laugh, educate you on something, maybe make you, inspire you. But that's why I'm beneficial. My opinion doesn't necessarily matter. If I could show you something, if I could tell you the truth, if I could, make you laugh and make your day better, or I could make you be a better person in some ways, that's why my show is more beneficial than others, because I'm not just telling you, like some people are like, be afraid and give me money, be afraid. It's like, you have nothing to be afraid of, God runs the world. All these other demons are just pretending. Oh, all these evil people run the world. Not in my world. God runs the world. All these other people are just pretending in my world, in my life. But in general, the right has turned into the left. The right has literally turned into the left. We laughed about left-wing journalists for years. We laughed at these idiots for saying that Joe Biden's so great because he's slurping ice cream. That was like the funniest joke. We're like, the left-wing media is so pathetic. They don't do their job. They just grovel over Joe Biden eating ice cream. In 1 week, Trump has regurgitated left-wing talking points about Florida COVID numbers, lying through his teeth like CNN did in 2020 on the Nelk Boys. He has said that Florida is one of the worst states in the country to live, die, retire, work, working mom, working dad, be a millennial, sharing Joy Reid blogs, CNN blogs. But don't worry, if you follow 9 out of 10 of these right-wing journalists, they're just sharing videos of Trump eating pizza, because that's what they are now. The left is the right. These people have spent so much time hating the left, they've become the left. They'll make an excuse for sharing a Joy Reid opinion piece on DeSantis. Oh yeah, Joy Reid thinks that? Wow. Or Joy Reid's employee thinks that? Wow. Whoa, what a great article. Yeah, I really go to MSNBC for my opinions. But Trump does now, because that's who he is. He's not principled. He's not even really that conservative. He's a power guy. It's like, MSNBC likes me, I'll share their article. Yeah, whoever. And the funniest part about all this is, I'll just remind people, none of this would be said if he wasn't running against DeSantis. Like, do you think Trump would be posting Florida's one of the worst states to live or die? He doesn't think that. He moved to Florida. Nobody in his base thinks that. I don't even think that, and I don't even want to move to Florida right now. I understand Florida's not perfect. I understand there's crime in Florida, but let the stats tell the story. People are fleeing California, and people are fleeing New Jersey and New York, and people are dumping into Republican states, North Carolina, South Carolina, but mostly people are dumping into Florida. So the data is proving that people want to move there for multiple different reasons. And just because Trump wants to get DeSantis, he's willing to crap on an entire state in a way that he never would do if he wasn't running. So it's not like he even really believes it. This is the point I'm trying to get. If you believe that DeSantis did the worst job on COVID and people died in Florida by crazy numbers, that's fine. You could think that, but at least I would respect you a little more if you've thought that the whole time. In a weird way, I'm not saying left-wing media is obviously wrong, but they've consistently said that about Florida. It's not right, they're lying, but they've consistently said it. They could make the argument that they actually believe that. I don't think they do, but they could say that. Trump and all his operatives and stuff, a year ago, they're saying Florida is one of the greatest states to live. I moved here myself. I'm so proud to be here. It's so free. DeSantis is the best against COVID. And this year, all of a sudden, now they're hitting DeSantis from the left. They're like, Florida's one of the worst places to live. Florida did terrible against COVID. People are dying here. They don't believe that. This is what I'm trying to explain to people. I believe what I say. These people don't believe what they say. They're just trying to win a campaign. But this is the age-old question. Who are they gaining from this? It's not me. Tell me the truth to win my vote. Show me that you're better to win my vote. Show me that you're more honest to win my vote. Show me that you're going to hire better people to win my vote. It's intellectually, I'm not going to say offensive because I'm not offended, but it's like intellectually embarrassing. Like, this is how low Trump thinks of his supporters. Hopefully he's not right. I hope he's not. I hope they prove him wrong. He thinks so lowly of you that he just knows he can walk all over you and just gaslight you on every level. Repeating CNN COVID talking points, saying Florida's so terrible, even though 3 weeks ago it wasn't that case. Are his supporters this weak and naive and foolish? Maybe. I hope not. But he's running a campaign that he thinks his supporters are stupid. I'm not stupid. When I voted for Trump, I'm not stupid. When I defended Trump thousands of times, it wasn't because I was stupid. It's because it was the right thing to do. He was being honest, and the left-wing media was being dishonest. Trump didn't have to give me a single dollar in order to gain my support. I just did it because it was the right thing to do. Now, he's turning into an MSNBC Democrat. Tell the truth to win my vote. Don't tell me that Florida is one of the worst places in the world just because you want to attack DeSantis, and the second you win, all of a sudden you'll say it's great again, even if the data doesn't change. It's a crazy campaign strategy he's running. I don't know who's coaching him. Maybe it's him himself. Grandpa Moderna's losing it. Maybe he's old. Maybe he's egotistical. Maybe he's like an old grandpa just telling old war stories that doesn't want to hear anybody else. I don't know. But this guy is not the same person that I liked in 2019. He's like a totally different person. It's like they copy paste replaced him with someone else. And I remember in 2016, I remember Bernie Sanders completely changing. I'm not saying he was ever amazing, but Bernie Sanders used to tweet a lot of stuff, say a lot of stuff, and the second that he kissed the ring of Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders might as well been a clone. I'm not saying he's literally a clone, but he might as well have been. Because then all of a sudden his Twitter was just the same three things on loop. I saw him go from, whether you like Bernie or not, most people probably don't, but even if you did, he went from an authentic person saying stuff, I don't know if he meant it or not, to a clone, to here's the same four things on loop and endorse Hillary Clinton. I watched it in real time. It was almost like they sat him in a room and told him, just paste these four things on loop. You can't be yourself anymore. With that being said, I watched the same thing happen to Trump after the election. Before the election, from 2020 till 2016, Trump was on the cusp of every issue. He was saying the truth about like almost everything, you know? He was really speaking to people. After the election, it was like the election was stolen, Moderna. The election was stolen, Moderna. Moderna. The election was stolen. Moderna vaccines are great. Moderna is awesome. Moderna. Vaccines. Moderna. Election stolen. Moderna. Election stolen. And this was the first time I was like, something's different about the guy. I don't mind if he talks about the election, but he's not who he would talk about 50 different things every week. Every week you'd wake up and Trump's social media account would be all sorts of different stuff. Everything that's going on. It was like Trump was a cultural commentator. He was talking about everything, right? It was like, here's what's this. Here's my opinion on this. He was a real person. After the election, he turned into just a loop, a vaccine loop and an election loop. And he's still on that loop. And then from 2020 to 2022, it was the same thing. My election, the vaccine. My election, the vaccine. He's like brainwashing people slowly, like two topics, run in circles. So now, someone said, Anomaly, you're bitter. You believe what you say while you continue to I'm not bitter at all. I'm not an idiot. If you want somebody to post Joy Reid blogs and CNN blogs and tell you that Florida did so bad about COVID because so many people were dying, if you want somebody to tell you that Florida is the worst place to live, die, and retire, and reference ESPN articles, if that's what you're looking for, Trump thinks you're stupid. That's your lane. Be like, yeah, that's conservatism to me is MSNBC blogs and ESPN articles. I'm not bitter. I'm just not stupid. So the funniest part is my opinion about Florida this week is the same as my opinion about Florida 5 months ago. I have the same opinion. There's pros and cons. It's in no way, shape, or form one of the worst places to retire. It's one of the best places to retire. Everybody from the East Coast moves to Florida to retire because it's one of the greatest places to retire. Everybody knows that. How is it me being bitter when Trump would have never said this 3 weeks ago, but now he's just gaslighting his people? If you want somebody that'll tell you that, there's a lot of accounts that are going to be like, dude, he ate pizza. Oh my gosh, he ate pizza. Why would you watch my thing? I was never a socialist. I was never a socialist. That's fake news. My whole life, if you want me to backtrack a little bit, I always just didn't care about politics. I don't even remember voting before the 2016 election. I thought the banks ran the show. I knew about Rothschilds and stuff like that. That was my angle my whole childhood. I thought Obama was a puppet, but he was interesting. I was never really into it. With Bernie versus Hillary, I wasn't a socialist. I just thought Hillary Clinton was evil, and I got lost in the sauce. Honestly, kind of like I did with Trump. I bought into like the world WWE show where it's like I knew objectively Hillary Clinton was absolutely the worst person. Even like as a person, I'm just like anybody running against Hillary to me just was like, oh, they've got to be better. So, Bernie tricked me with his rhetoric. I didn't understand taxes and all that stuff. It's not like I was like, oh, I love Bernie Sanders because he's a socialist. He was talking about the environment. He was talking about both parties being corrupt. So I bought into this idea that Bernie Sanders was more of a non-puppet because he was an independent. I never was like, oh, but I'd go to events and I'd realize that not everyone agreed with me. Like some people wanted free healthcare. Some people wanted this and that. So I learned really quickly. I was in my 20s that, as things went on, the truth reveals itself. It's like as he bows out, you realize he wasn't who you thought he was. As the election goes on, as I turn 26 and I start paying taxes and healthcare, you start to realize that Bernie's rhetoric is not accurate. Like he would tell you that it's only for the billionaires, but then when I'm paying $4,000 a year and I have no money, I know Bernie's lying because I could see it in my own pocket. You get what I'm saying? So I was never a socialist. I was never into that. I got sucked into this idea that he was gonna, really the same as Donald Trump. I thought Bernie might drain the swamp because he wasn't Hillary Clinton. And then Trump did the same thing. People could say that everybody grows up, everybody makes mistakes, everybody learns, but the same people that are gonna laugh at me for that, Trump did the same thing. He said he was going to drain the swamp and never take people's money. Instead, he took hundreds of millions of dollars from mega donors and corporations, employed pharmacy lobbyists and swampers and Goldman Sachs people, and he didn't drain the swamp either. He sold vaccines like Bill Gates. So it's like, you could laugh at me for what I thought in 2016. I could laugh at the whole movement for what they thought in 2020. So the same thing happened to both people. I'm not trying to hold it over people's heads. It's just eventually either we got to learn or not. I don't know. I'm one voter. What do you guys think? Do you think that Trump's campaign strategy is going to work? I get attacking DeSantis if you're going to make sense. To be honest, I even get lying about DeSantis. I do understand that, even though it doesn't appeal to me. I get the benefit of lying about it or basically accusing DeSantis of things that you also do and brainwashing your supporters into thinking that only he does it when also Trump does it too. I get that, even though it's kind of not true. But I don't understand pretending like Florida is one of the worst states. To me, yeah, I'm not going to lie. Trump really annoys me now. Like the fact that he moved from New York City to Florida, and then he gets there and he wants to act like it's one of the worst states just because he wants to beat DeSantis. To me, this shows his true character. He's not looking to tell the truth. He's not looking to out-truth DeSantis or out-conservative DeSantis. He's looking to do whatever he has to do, turn into CNN, turn into MSNBC, crap all over people, and then lobby the politicians there so they can't even talk about it. It's a very weird strategy. It doesn't appeal to me. I don't get it. Does it work for you? I don't know. Is that a way to, someone said Trump 2024. I think that's the people that he's looking for. People that aren't critically thinking or have no spine or, sense of values. They just regurgitate Trump 2024 like a pull string doll. I think that's what Trump's going for, and he'll probably win. Honestly, I think the base really is that weak. I think the people that just yell Trump 2024, like that's who he appeals to, not the people who look at it and be like, no, that actually makes no sense. He's turning into MSNBC. It's like he wants people that just yell Trump 2024 and can't really even think about why it makes sense. Someone said I'm pro Trump 2020, not 2024. I don't understand how, it's just weird. It's interesting how he operates. Like, everything that he does would be a career ruiner for anyone else. But for him, it's just like another day. If you saw a video of DeSantis or Rand Paul or Candace Owens or anyone say, I get along great with Gavin Newsom, I'll never hit him because he's nice to me. If anyone else said that, that would be on Trump would be tweeting that every day about DeSantis. Look, I have a video of DeSantis saying he gets along with Gavin Newsom and will never criticize him because he's nice to him. That would be the end of DeSantis's campaign. When Trump does it, it's just another drop in the bucket of things that he does. It's like, who cares what he does? Who cares if he's a Democrat? Who cares if he's CNN now? Who cares if he's MSNBC? Who cares if he, is going to hire Lindsey Graham again? Who cares? I mean, it's not about conservatism. It's not about what happens. It's about worshiping Trump and believing that he has a secret plan. This is the type of people he's looking for. People that are going to say MarALago is Jerusalem for Republicans. Florida belongs to Trump. People that will ignore socialism, communism, scams, delusion, and just say, well, he's eating pizza. Who cares if he prints $6 trillion and destroys the economy? He's eating pizza. Who cares if he's in on the most globalist scam ever and proud of it and still never tells the truth about it? He eats pizza. It is Jerusalem for people that worship him. It like going to MarALago is exactly like going to Jerusalem. I'm glad he said that because that's exactly what it is to these people. It's their entire religion. It's more important than church. It's like once they get to the golden room in MarALago, their whole world has changed. They can't speak. They have no values. They have no morals. They just agree and smile and eat steaks and eat pizza. I'm going to read a few more comments, then I'm going to roll out. Let's see. Will I vote for Trump? In the primaries at this point? No, of course not. In the generals against Biden? Sure, he's better than Biden, but so is my sock. So I guess it's like, diarrhea versus poop. Like, yeah, I'll take poop. Yeah, maybe he'll get a few judges in there or something. I think Trump's better than Biden. I think that's obvious. But to me, at this point, I don't know. It's like Trump, he could just be a Democrat. It's like I don't see any signs that he has any principles or any respect for anything except for himself. Like, you want to kick Thomas Massie out of the party because Thomas Massie told you the truth about the lockdowns, but you're friends with Gavin Newsom and you would never criticize him because he's nice to you. Trump is a Democrat. Trump is in on it. Trump doesn't care. It's like, but people care so much on the right. It's goofy. It's very weird. I'm over it though. I get it. If it's like half the country's obese, I get it. People want to be fat. They don't want to take care of themselves. So it's easier to just like watch TV and think someone's going to save you. I don't know. I don't get it, but it's like, Trump, I'll vote for Trump over Biden, but he's not going to ruin my life or anything. It's like, I'm not going to cry about it. Yeah, he'll be better. If I can survive a Biden administration, I could survive a Trump administration. It's fine. It's just people are going to figure out what I'm saying in 3 years. And then they're going to be like, oh, damn. Or they're going to be like mentally ill the rest of their life. And he'll do nothing for another 4 years. And they'll be like, well, maybe there's a secret code under my sock. I bought, it's like, I don't know. There's crackheads on the street of San Francisco. My days aren't ruined thinking about what they're going through. It's like, I just got to live my life either way. So someone said Trump didn't change. I did. Trump absolutely changed. Trump in 2018 wasn't signing Bill Gates executive orders and selling vaccines for Johnson & Johnson. Trump did more socialism and communism than Obama. He imploded the economy, did vaccine socialism, and ran around the country selling Moderna vaccines harder than Bill Gates. That's not who I was supporting. If Trump did that in 2017, I would have not liked him. If Trump did that in 2018, I would have not liked him. Trump changed. If you want to pretend that he didn't, that's on you. There's plenty of channels you could watch of journalists who hang out at MarALago and say that he's presidential eating pizza. And if you hate Trump so much that you want to watch videos of Joe Biden eating ice cream cones, then you could do that. Someone said Anomaly sponsored by Soros. Trump is sharing MSNBC blogs. Trump is literally sharing Joy Reid blogs on True Social. So do you think if I say, wow, sharing Joy Reid blogs is really cool when Trump does it because Joy Reid blogs have the best hit pieces on Republicans. Is that anti-Soros to you, sharing Joy Reid blogs? Do you want me to sit here and say, so many people are dying of COVID in Florida? I mean, DeSantis did a bad job. Florida's one of the worst places to live and retire. I'm going to move there and then say it's so bad. Is that what you want me to do? Is that anti-Soros to you? Just pathologically lying in a desperate attempt to beat someone in an election? Why doesn't Trump just tell the truth to beat DeSantis? It's not that hard. Is he too old? I don't know. He's surrounded by a bunch of people that just tell him that. I don't think anyone is allowed to tell him any otherwise. They just have to be like, sir, yes, sir. You know, it's like at this point, it's literally becoming insane. Like people are going to accuse me of being a Soros guy because I don't agree with sharing Joy Reid opinion pieces. That's MAGA now. MAGA's sharing Joy Reid opinion pieces. MAGA is pathologically lying about COVID numbers in Florida to win an election. MAGA is saying 3 weeks ago that Florida is the greatest, freest country or state in the world that everyone wants to go to. And now they're saying it's one of the worst places to be, to live, to die, to retire, to be a police officer. Do you think most police officers in Florida think that it's one of the worst places to be a police officer? Of course not. No, very few people in Florida believe all this stuff. If they did, they wouldn't be in Florida. It's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing movement. And the only people that are still like slobbering over this, it's like he's lowering the IQ and the spine of his base. It's like, let's weed out all the smart people who actually respect themselves. And let me just leave the groveling people with no self-respect or no dignity that will literally be like, yeah, would you share an MSNBC Joy Reid hit piece on Trump? Do you think if DeSantis, let me just play the game. If DeSantis shared a Joy Reid MSNBC blog post about Donald Trump, everybody that's endorsing Trump would be like, that's insane. What are you, a Democrat? You're sharing a Joy Reid blog? That's the only way you can get a Trump? You have nothing else to say but sharing Joy Reid blog opinions? Dude, DeSantis' career would be over. But Trump does it. It's just another day in Democrat MAGA world. That MAGA is a Democrat movement now. Socialism's fine as long as he does it. CNN's cool again because Trump shared it. Like, sharing CNN pieces is cool now. If the CNN piece was like about something important, but it's just like a DeSantis hit piece, like you can't find a better opinion. Yeah, CNN hates Republicans. They have lots of articles about it. Someone said he's playing 33-degree chess. What, like Freemason chess, you're saying? Yeah, that's funny. Someone said, I bought a Trump coin too. At the time, it was pretty cool. Now it's a reminder of being fooled. I'm going to end this because I want to watch some fights too. I mean, there's a big fight on today, Garcia versus Tank Davis. I want to watch some of it. But in general, I don't want to keep this too long. That's what it is. I'm going to just repeat again. And at the end of the day, it's not about my opinion. It's not like the truth is the truth. If you believe all this stuff, that's for you to decide. I'm just going to read it real quick. You're allowed to. This is America. But if you didn't think this 3 weeks ago, or you didn't think this yesterday, and now you're pretending to think it just because you like a guy, you really have to consider like who you are. I'm going to read again. This is from Trump's own website. Because he doesn't like DeSantis and he's trying to beat him in an election, fair. Trump is now shitting on the entire state of Florida and saying it's one of the worst places to live, to do everything. Under Ron DeSantis, Trump says Florida has become among the worst states to live. Do you think Florida is one of the worst states to live, especially residents of Florida? He says it's one of the worst states to find economic opportunity. So bad that it has the #1 most transplants there, and everybody's fleeing Democrat states. He says it's one of the worst places to work. It's one of the worst places in the country to retire. Obviously not true. People love retiring in Florida. Everyone knows that. One of the worst places to raise a family. It's one of the worst places to pay taxes. Not state taxes, but okay. One of the worst places to be safe. One of the worst places to rent a home. Florida's one of the worst places to have a baby. One of the worst places to afford energy. It's one of the worst places to die, says Trump. It's one of the worst places to be a teacher. It's one of the worst places to be a doctor. It's one of the worst place in the country to be a police officer. Florida's one of the worst places in the country to be a millennial. Florida's one of the worst places to be a working dad or a mom. Does anyone believe that? The funniest thing is all of the biggest Trump operatives, they all live in Florida. And like 2 weeks ago, they're like, Florida's an amazing state. Now, are they going to be like, yeah, no, Florida is the shittiest state? It's like, then move then. Then move somewhere that's better. If it's one of the worst states to live, why is Trump living there? If it's one of the worst states to raise a family, why is Trump doing it? Because he doesn't believe any of that stuff. It's like a psychological test to see how obedient and pathetic his base is. He's trying to lower the IQ so he can just bamboozle you over and over and over. Just like 2020 was a test, this is a test. It's like a humiliation ritual. It's like step one, move to Florida. Flee New York City. This is why I don't feel bad for the guy. He's fleeing New York City because all these people are coming after that, right? Trump's fleeing New York City. They're quote unquote trying to arrest him, aka helping his campaign. He flees to Florida, right? The second he gets to Florida, now he's like, it doesn't even matter if a Republican's there. Charlie Crist could have done a better job. People feel bad for this guy, so he's going to move to Florida away from Democrats trying to arrest him. And he gets there and says, I don't even care if this governor's here. Democrats could do just as good of a job. So then if Democrats take over Florida and they try to arrest Trump again, is he a victim now because he doesn't even care? Dude, Trump is the least principled, one of the fakest people I've ever seen. I can't believe I used to think this guy was cool. Unless they replaced him or something, or he's like losing his mind because he's 80, or I don't know what happened. He sold his soul. This is not the same guy I liked in 2019 and 2020. Moves to Florida, flees a Democrat city, comes to Florida, says he doesn't care if a Democrat won. It doesn't even matter. Then he says that it's one of the worst places to live, one of the worst places to raise a family, one of the worst places to pay taxes, and that the COVID numbers were so bad there, and and DeSantis did one of the worst jobs with COVID deaths. Trump is CNN now. Trump is MSNBC now. Trump is a Democrat now. Trump is attacking DeSantis from the left. Attack DeSantis from the right. Attack DeSantis from an authentic place. Beat DeSantis, please. I don't think DeSantis is really that authentic. It's like if DeSantis is here, Trump used to be here. All Trump has to do is be here to win my vote. I want to vote for the guy. It's like, I don't think DeSantis is that great. But if DeSantis is here and Trump used to be here, it's like Trump's hitting him from here. And he's like, you have to be loyal to me, even though I just keep getting shittier and shittier and shittier and lying and lying and lying. It's very weird. It's very strange. Someone said you sound like an ex. Bro, when this live stream ends, you can justify to yourself if you believe this. Do you believe that Florida did one of the worst jobs with COVID? Do you believe that it's one of the worst places to retire and live? Because that's what Trump's saying. I'm not sitting here lying through my teeth to you. If I sat here and lied through my teeth to you, you're allowed to disagree. But if that's what you want, you could have it. It's just like, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish. Tom said, shut up in all caps. Why, Tom? What part of what I said bothers you? People don't even think anymore. It's an optional show, folks. It's not mandatory. Unlike the COVID vaccine in Democrat areas, this is not mandatory. You know, people act like I dragged them here and made them sit in timeout and listen to me rant. I don't even know who most of the people are. I appreciate you. Don't get me wrong. I'm extremely grateful that there's so many people listening, but you come here and yell shut up like it's not my page. I don't even understand that. It's like going to somebody's speech and then standing in the crowd and be like, shut up, I don't want to hear it. It's like, well, luckily for you, there's something called a computer, a cell phone, and an internet where there's millions of things you could watch. You could literally go to YouTube and search Donald Trump speech and put it in your headphones and listen to Donald Trump talk on loop for 20 hours straight. Like, you can do that. And I'm not you, like, it's an option that you can do. You could listen to the Beatles or Rolling Stones. You don't have to be here, but you come here and yell like, shut up. Like, it's like, no. Someone said Anomaly is brave to speak the truth to people who hate to hear it. I'm going to end in a second, but it's just sad that this is so, like, it's just sad. I wish I thought I was so special. I think I do work hard and I'm good at what I do. And I think I'm honest, but I wish this was like a sport I'm playing. I'm good at sports. If I'm extraordinary at sports, it's like, wow, he's really good. I don't think what I'm doing is that special. I wish I did so I could love myself more. But it's like, it's sad to me that just being somewhat genuine and honest is like a revolutionary thing. If you're honest and you're left wing, you can't even be left wing anymore. They don't like the truth. If you're right wing, you just have to pretend like sharing Joy Reid blogs is like really cool, like Joy Reid hit pieces. Now we're Joy Reid because now we're regurgitating. Like, what I'm saying, it's not that difficult to do what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not talking about some of the editing, etc. Like, some stuff's not easy, but as far as like, what are these other people doing that this is such a crazy statement? It's not like I'm here. I've done 20-minute reports that have taken me 5 days. Like, that's impressive. I've done impressive. What I'm doing right now shouldn't be that revolutionary. It's really sad. It's like saying, I'm a woman, I'm a man. And it's like, whoa, you deserve an award because you told your gender. Like, that's the world we live in now. The most simple statement is like mind-blowing because both sides of politics are getting so wrapped up in some sort of narrative. But that's the story of the day. I mean, if you think that's awesome, is just Trump moving to Florida and then saying that a Democrat could run it just as good and that it's one of the worst places to be on almost every metric, if that's what you're looking for, you found it. But, you know, don't be surprised when more and more people don't want that, because people liked Trump when he told the truth. Now it's like you have to act like MarALago Is Jerusalem. It's turning into like, but the thing is, the people that say stuff like that, they're benefiting from it. I understand why influencers are doing it. They're making money. They're getting connections. They're turning into politicians. They're going to be the next generation of Lindsey Grahams and Mitt Romneys with no soul. I get why the influencers are doing it. Why are the voters doing it? You get what I'm saying? Like, when I look at these politicians that sit in a golden room and they say this type of stuff, MarALago Is Jerusalem, they're doing it because they're benefiting off of it financially and socially. Doesn't make it right. They're still selling out, but they're getting something for it. The average American voter, what are you getting to act like all this is cool? You're not getting anything. So it doesn't even make sense. So God bless you guys. The link, just Google the real DeSantis Playbook. Here, I'll just show you real quick. If you Google this before I leave, if you want to see all the links, it's just Google the real Ron DeSantis Playbook and look for the one that goes to Donald Trump's official website, and you can see the whole email and you could click on every link. Some of them are ESPN links. Most of them are wallethub.com. But once again, he's making the case that Florida is one of the worst places to pay taxes, to be safe, to rent a home, to have a baby, to afford energy, to die, to be a teacher, to be a doctor, to live, to find economic opportunity, to work, to retire, to raise a family. That's the new Trump campaign, guys. Florida sucks. That's why I moved there. Florida sucks. That's why I'm lobbying Florida politicians. And all of these politicians, the funniest part, none of them believe that. They're all like, Florida is such a great state. And now everybody's commenting, are you going to allow Trump to say that? Well, I don't want to lose my spot at the golden table. They're getting ratioed on all their posts now, rightfully so. People are going to wake up, folks. It's pretty obvious stuff. So it's like, they're out here saying Florida's so great. It's like, well, the guy you just endorsed said that Florida is one of the shittiest states on every metric. So are you going to question him? Well, I can't question him because then I'll lose my career. It's like, well, then you're just another Mitt Romney in the making. You're not special. You're not an outsider. You're slobbering over a guy that's shitting on your state as a cheap political attempt to make some guy look bad. Just tell the truth to make him look bad. If you can't tell the truth and beat him, that says a lot about you. Someone in his camp, please tell him, tell the truth. Tell Trump to tell the truth and everybody will like him again. If he just keeps lying and shitting on people in a desperate attempt to get people to hate DeSantis, it's making him look really desperate and really fake. That's my opinion. God bless you guys. Have a beautiful Saturday. I'm going to watch the Tank Davis-Ryan Garcia fight. Should be fun. Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, stay blessed long sleeve, God is great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk for $5 a month. You can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/rare.